What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to carry on. We need to carry on looking at Mass Mutation. We are looking at every single new card in Mass Mutation, so if you're wondering what's in there, if you want to know what's good, etc., over this series of videos you will get to see every single discard in Mass Mutation, and as far as I'm concerned, that's a pretty good thing. I, for one, am pretty excited. And this is the disruptive house, clues kind of in the name. They're the mean house, the annoying house. So, what mean, annoying tricks do they have in store for us in the new set? Let's take a little bit of a look, shall we? And we might as well have a little bit of a start off with BONESAW. BONESAW is a 5-power, 0-armor creature, and if a friendly creature was destroyed this turn, BONESAW enters play ready. The cool thing about this, of course, it does not say how the creature needs to be destroyed, so it really doesn't matter whether you have entered a fight and had it been destroyed, or you've played your own action card that destroys it, or whatever. But it does need to be on your turn that it happened. But make no mistake, coming into play ready, being able to reap or fight straight away is one of the more powerful skills we see in the game. BRABBLE is a 2-power, 0-armor creature, and when it is destroyed, your opponent loses 1 amber. If it is not your turn, your opponent loses 3 amber instead. What I love about BRABBLE is your opponent almost just can't destroy it. Because if they destroy it, they lose 3 amber. Losing 3 amber is a lot of amber to lose. You can't just blithely give away 3 amber, but that's what you're doing if you destroy BRABBLE. It also means if your opponent wants to play some kind of board wiping card, if they want to play Gateway to this, they'll destroy all of your creatures and their own, and they'll lose 3 amber. Your opponent is going to have to be super, super careful when you've got BRABBLE on the field. And it's a common. Imagine you've got 3 or 4 of these out. Your opponent cannot play a board wiping card basically ever. And even on your turn, you can throw it at your opponent's creature and they'll lose 1 amber. That's pretty cool. Dark Minion is a 1-power, 0-armor creature, and it brings a damage enhancement into your deck. That is to say, because this is in your deck, a random card in your opponent's deck will have a damage icon. When you play it, deal 1 damage to a creature. Sweet. And when it is destroyed, you deal 1 damage to each enemy creature. Yeah, we have 3 cards in here, and we're already seeing some good destroyed options here. And this is just destroyed, so even if it's destroyed on your turn, you deal 1 damage to everything. Again, it's a common, so it's probably going to turn up in multiples. This is going to be big for, like, really big for cheeky damage. DRECKER is a 4-power, 0-armor creature, and damage dealt to DRECKER's neighbors during fights is also dealt to DRECKER. Yeah, that's not a good thing. That makes DRECKER, like, hyper weak. You don't even ever have to attack it. If you take out its 4-power neighbor, you also take out it. But when you reap, you steal an amber. And stealing an amber when you reap, that's not a dis thing, right? That's a shadows thing. Being able to do this as a dis creature is ridiculous, and I absolutely love it. Just do bear in mind it's rarely going to stay on the field for very long. IMP-LOSION gives me real Imp-Spectre vibes. It is an action card that gives you an amber bonus, and when you play it, you destroy a friendly creature and an enemy creature. Now, generally speaking, I'd be looking at this and going, well, you know, you got to destroy one of your own creatures, and being able to destroy any creature on your opponent's side of the board is good, but you got to destroy one of your own. But what if you've got a Dark Minion in play? Or what if you've got a Dust Imp in play? When it's destroyed, you gain 2 amber. There's a bunch of cool stuff that you can do with destroyed skills in Dis, so actually that makes me kind of like Implosion. Mark of Dis, this is a good one. It's an action card that gives you an amber bonus and lets you deal 2 damage to a creature. If it is not destroyed, its controller must choose that creature's house as their active house on their next turn. Yeah. Ever since Control the Weak, one of the things that Dis have done really nicely is force your opponent either into or out of a particular house when trying to decide what they're playing. Mark of Dis does that while giving you an amber bonus while dealing 2 damage to a creature. And it's not Control the Weak, it's not guaranteed. It only works if your opponent has a creature that can take 2 damage of the house you want to force them into. I mean, if you want to force them into Saurian, but they don't have any Saurian creatures on the board, you can't. Or if their only Saurian creature will be destroyed by 2 damage, you can't. But a lot of the time you'll be able to. This one's awesome. MINDFIRE is an action card, and when you play it, your opponent discards a random card from their hand, and you steal 1 amber for each bonus icon on the discarded card. And like so many cards in Keyforge, this could be out and out phenomenal, or it could be fine. Could be alright. You see, if they've got, and you can have 5 bonus icons on a card. Now, if you discard those 5 bonus icons on the one card, 2 things happen. Firstly, you steal 5 amber, that's awesome. Secondly, they've lost the card with 5 bonus icons that they probably really wanted to resolve. But there'll be plenty of other times you discard a card with no icons and it won't do much. Cinder is a 6 power, 2 armor creature with taunt. That is to say that you cannot attack its neighbors, you have to attack it. It's phenomenally powerful. But when you reap, you destroy a friendly creature, meaning most of the time you're going to have to fight. Yes, you can use this to destroy something like a Dark Minion, that would be awesome. But even then, do you really want to destroy Dark Minion? Would you rather not reap with Dark Minion and let your opponent destroy it and then you still get the skill? Most of the time I would. Very powerful creature. Great at protecting weaker creatures. If you've got a creature you really want to protect, sit Cinder down next to it and you're good. Taunt, powerful creature, but it's not always going to work. SNARETTE is a 4 power, 0 armor creature, and at the end of your turn you capture an amber. It is of course the mutant version of SNARETTE, which when you played it you captured amber. So I like that we're getting a similar kind of thing rolling on here. It's also got an action that moves each amber from SNARETTE to the common supply, so the theory here is end of your turn you capture an amber, and then every time you have a Dis turn you move all the amber from SNARETTE to your pool. It's not going to work all that often and your opponent will go after SNARETTE very, very well, but you know what, anytime you're forcing your opponent to go after a particular creature because it's too gosh darned good, that makes it a really good creature. That should be fairly obvious. Cool! I like this one. Stirring Grave is an action card with an amber bonus that lets you archive a creature from your discard pile. Which means at the beginning of your next Dis turn, or indeed any turn, doesn't have to be a Dis creature, you can pick it up from your archive and play it. It basically gives you access to whatever creature you want on your next turn. That's pretty ridiculous and it's a great card. Techno Fiend took a bit longer to get there than it did in the previous videos, but we've got the Fiends here. Make no mistake about it, when it comes to this series of 6 creatures that all represent the other 6 houses, Dis are the best. These are the best, you know what I mean? You see, the Dis thing is, when it's destroyed, you steal an amber. So all of these, when destroyed, you steal an amber. Techno Fiend, 3 power, 0 armor. When destroyed, you steal an amber. But because it's the Logos creature, it does what, or Logos equivalent, it does what Logos does, which means that when you reap, you discard a card from your hand, and if you do, you draw a card. The reason for if you do, even though it makes you discard a card, is that way it's basically saying if you don't have any cards in hand, you can't just draw a card. So this is very, very good. And of course, it basically ends up looking exactly like the Dis version of the Logos creature. So Demobot is a 3 power, 0 armor creature that when destroyed, you steal an amber, and when you reap, you discard a card from your hand. If you do, draw a card. What we basically do is it's the Dis version mixed with the Logos. So that's how we basically put these all together. That's why they seem so themed. So running through them, because we've done this in a few videos now. Dino Fiend goes up to 4 power, and when you play, you may exalt it. If you do, you deal 3 damage to a creature. Exalting is putting an amber on it from the common supply. That is awkward, ladies and gentlemen. That is pretty gosh darned awkward. But fun fact, when they destroy you, they get your amber, but then you steal one, so it kind of works out anyway. We see Lyco Fiend, the untamed version, 3 power, 0 armor, and it's got skirmish. If it starts a fight, it takes no damage in the fight. Sacro Fiend is the Sanctum version, and it doesn't have a skill, but it does gain 2 armor and 4 power, so that's not too bad here. Umbra Fiend is the Shadows version. It gains elusive. The first time you attack it, you break the elusive, then you can actually try taking it down. And Xeno Fiend goes to 3 power, but when you fight, you look at the top 3 cards of your deck, put one in your hand and the other on the bottom of your deck. The fact that all of these have the dis thing of when destroyed, steal an amber makes them the best, and they've all got the set, right? All of the houses in Mass Mutation have this, but dis have the best ones. Waking Nightmare is an action that gives you an amber bonus, and it brings an enhanced capture into your deck. Because this is in your deck, one of your cards will have a capture bonus. When you play it, a friendly creature captures an amber. And when you play it, keys cost +1 amber for each dis creature in play during your opponent's next turn. This could be utterly phenomenal. If you've got like 9 creatures in your deck and you get them all out, your opponent's keys cost +9. Sure, there'll be times it doesn't really work, but there are going to be times this is out and out phenomenal. Break Key is an action card with an amber bonus, and when you play it, if your opponent has more keys forged than you do, unforge one of them. But if you unforge it, you have to give them 6 amber. Now, wording-wise, this does differ significantly from Keyhammer. Keyhammer says unforge one of your opponent's keys if they forge one last turn. Your opponent gains 6 amber. So if you play it when your opponent hasn't forged a key, you don't unforge, but you still give them 6 amber. This only gives them 6 amber if you unforge. I mean, look, it sets your opponent back a turn. That's all it does. It gives you an amber and hopefully sets your opponent back a turn. What I really like about it, though, is that it works if your opponent has more keys than you, not just if they forged last turn. Double Doom is an action card, and when you play it, you return an enemy creature to its owner's hand, and your opponent discards a random card from their hand. So you get to take a creature off of their board, and you get to discard a card from their hand. That's pretty disruptive. Essence Scale is an artifact with an amber bonus, and it's got an action whereby you destroy a friendly creature, but if you do, you ready and use a friendly creature that shares a house with the destroyed creature. So this actually gives you house cheating here. You can use a Sanctum creature on your turn as long as you destroy a friendly Sanctum creature. You do have to destroy a creature. It's not always going to be worth it, but it's an action on an artifact. You don't have to use it. But what is really cool here is that if you've got those destroyed triggers, this has got your back. And you get to use a creature out of house, and it is ready in use, so if you've got a friendly creature, you can use them twice, or use a creature out of house. I think this is really good. Grim Reminder is an action card that lets you choose a house, archive each creature of that house from your discard pile, and gain a chain. And this is really simple, right? If you've got lots of creatures from one house that you really want back, this gets them all back. Sure, you have to gain a chain, which means one turn you draw one fewer card at the end, but given that you might be getting 5, 6, 7, 8 creatures back, and they go in the archive, and at the beginning of your next turn you get to pick them all up, yeah. Okay, you're losing one card one turn, but you're gaining more than one card on another turn, so who really cares? HYSTRICOG brings in 3 damage enhancements as a 4-power creature, so there's 3 extra damage being dealt. And it's got an action that destroys a damaged creature. So hopefully you find those damage icons, and you literally drop 1 damage on anything, even something gigantic like a Deacillus, and then, yeah, they're down. They go down. You destroy them in 1 hit, regardless of what they are. That's good, ladies and gentlemen. That's good. That's going to help you out very much. PICAROON has deploy. We don't see deploy very much anymore. Deploy means you can put it anywhere in your battlefield. It does not have to go down on a flank. And it's got power X, which is a combined power of its non-changeling neighbours. So put it down next to 2 big creatures and it becomes gigantic. But it is still just a vanilla creature at the end of the day, but it can be really powerful. Relentless Creeper is a 2-power 0-armor creature, and after you choose Dis as your active house, you may return it from your discard pile to your hand. Cool. It basically means that even though it keeps getting destroyed because it's 2 power 0 armor, no elusive, no skirmish, it keeps coming back. You keep having access to it, which means you've got more creatures in play. WAIL of the Damned has a capture enhancement, and when you play it, you destroy any creature with no bonus icons. Very few creatures have natural bonus amber, but remember, any creature can have bonus icons popped on them by these cards. So, yeah. ETAN'S Jar is an artifact, and when you play, you name a card. Until ETAN'S Jar leaves play, cards with that name cannot be played. I love this. This is about as spiteful as you can possibly get, and I adore it. If you're really worried about cards, like for instance Control of the Weak, ha! Maleficorn, love the name of this one. 5 power, 0 armor with 4 damage enhancements in your face, HYSTRICOG. And after an enemy creature is dealt damage by a damage bonus icon, you deal an extra damage. So if you can get like HYSTRICOG and Maleficorn in the same deck, you are going to be throwing around a lot of damage and destroying a lot of creatures. But it brings in 4 damage enhancements while doubling all damage enhancements, which means if things go right, Maleficorn itself is dealing 8 damage through other cards. Yes. PAINMAIL is an upgrade with an amber bonus, and this creature gains after any player chooses Dis as their active house. Put PAINMAIL into its owner's archives and destroy this creature. Oh. Yeah, that's good. You put it on a creature and then you choose Dis and then they go away. Ha! Fun times. Ritual of Tognath is a free amber card. But when you play, you've got to destroy 2 friendly creatures. It's Virtuous Works, and we all know that Virtuous Works is a very good card, but then again, that was back in Call of the Archons when, let's just say Sanctum weren't amazing. Thing is, Virtuous Works just gave you free amber as a vanilla card. This makes you destroy 2 friendly creatures, but there are some good destroy triggers in Dis, so you can make it work for you. SKIXUNO is a 1 power 0 armor creature with Omega. Again, one of those keywords from Age of Ascension we just don't see very much anymore. It means when you play it, you end your turn. But when you play, you destroy each other creature, and for each creature destroyed this way, give SKIXUNO a +1 power counter. Now, this is yours and your opponent's creatures going down, but the theory here is you basically board wipe everyone and then get a bunch of extra power. I mean, if there's 12, 13, 14, 15 creatures on the board, you get 12, 13, 14, 15 extra power counters. That's pretty good. The Pale Star is an artifact with an Omni ability. You can use it regardless of your active house. You destroy it, and for the remainder of the turn, each creature is considered to have 1 power, 0 armor. Now, these are yours and your opponent's, but it basically means every one of your creatures can destroy every one of your opponent's creatures, and they'll get destroyed too, but maybe it's worth it. Turnkey is a 2 power 0 armor creature, and when you play, you unforge an opponent's key. Yeah, that's right, second card that unforges a key. But if you do, when Turnkey leaves play, your opponent forges a key at no cost. So you take a key away, and they'll get the key back. The second Turnkey leaves play, they get the key back. But the key here is they don't have it now. And that's good. Very good. Now, the only creatures we've got left to talk about are the 7 Sins. We're going to run through them very quickly. I have done a video just on the 7 Sins where I go into a bit more detail. So we're going to run through the 7 Sins quickly, but I encourage you to check out the 7 Sins video. It will be in the description to learn more. Basically, I think they're utterly over-the-top broken. They come as a set of 3 to 7 in a deck, and I think if you get all 7, things are getting dumb. They're the best cards in the set as far as I'm concerned. Desire is a free power 0 armor creature and says that keys cost +4 amber for each player, but when you reap you may forge a key at current cost, reduced by 1 for each friendly Sin creature. So if you've got 7 Sins out, okay, you put keys up to costing 10, but then you bring them down to costing 3. Envy is a free power 0 armor creature with elusive, and if there are 2 or more friendly Sin creatures, you capture all of your opponent's amber. And sure, they can destroy it to take it back, but you'll see we've got a couple options for protecting it, and also, they don't have the amber now. At the very least, you're stopping them forging for a turn. Gluttony is a 6 power 0 armor creature. When you play, you exalt it once for each friendly Sin creature. That is to say, put 1 amber on it from the common supply for each friendly Sin. But when you reap, you move each amber from all your friendly creatures to your pool. Everyone that's exalted, everyone that's captured it, all goes back to your pool. So basically, you play Gluttony down. Hopefully, it is the final of the 7 Sins. So you exalt it 7 times, but you then protect it for a single turn, and you get all 7 amber next turn when you reap. And it's a reap skill, so you even get an amber when you do it, which is a bit silly. Greed is a 4 power 0 armor creature, and during your draw card step, you refill your hand to 1 additional card for each friendly Sin creature. And this is just a permanent skill, it's not just on a dis turn. Again, 7 Sins, you're drawing 7 extra cards. Instead of drawing your hand to 6 cards, you draw it to 13. Pride is a 4 power 0 armor creature, and when you reap, you ward each friendly Sin creature. You put a ward counter on, and the next time they would be damaged, destroyed, or otherwise removed from play, you just remove the ward counter instead. Oh look, it's a way to protect cards like Envy and Gluttony. Look how that worked out. Sloth is a 5 power 0 armor creature, and at the end of your turn, if you did not use any creatures this turn, you gain 1 amber for each friendly Sin creature. But that's a permanent skill, so if you played all 7 Sins in 1 turn, let's say you got them all in the archive, or I don't know, just for argument's sake, you used Grim Reminder, which would let you archive all of them from the discard. You don't use any of them, you can't, they're exhausted when you play them, but you still gain 7 amber at the end of the turn. That's ridiculous. And then finally, Wrath is a 3 power, 3 armor creature with Taunt. You can't attack its neighbours, you have to attack it. Poison, if it deals any damage, it will destroy the creature it's fighting. And Skirmish, when it starts to fight, it survives. And it also guarantees to take them down because of poison, assuming they've got fewer than 3 armor. And when you fight, for each friendly Sin creature, you enrage an enemy creature, forcing them to fight next turn rather than reap. Together, the 7 Sins are beyond broken. I love them. I think they're ridiculous. So yeah, this is looking really, really good in Mass Mutation, and certainly 7 Sins is now the deck I want more than any other. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to know what you think about these discards. I want to know which your favourites are, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wossy, where we talk Keyforge and a whole bunch of other games, and please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, and all that good stuff. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.